Good morning, everyone. This is Clara with Card Stamping with Clara. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm back this week to show you another set that Stampin' Up! Has. I really like this set, but before we get into it, let me make you aware of a couple of things. Number one, Stampin' Up! Has got some of their stamp sets, their retired stamp sets, on the clearance rack right now. And you can purchase those at a reduced price. And there's other items such as paper and what have you. There's a stamp for Thanksgiving. There's some really cute Christmas stamps, and I think you might find it really interesting. The other thing that makes this even better is July 1st through July 31st. If you spend $50, you get $5 credit that you can spend in August, from August 1st to August 31st. So it gives you $5 that you can spend in August on another maybe stamp set or whatever you'd like to have. The other thing is, if you spend $50, I'll give you a Memento ink pad. So that sweetens the deal, and if you've already got one, I'll give you a refill instead. So those are a few highlights of the bargains for this time of the year. The other thing is, if you would please, push the subscribe button so you won't miss any of the videos. I would appreciate that. That would help me. And as always, we've got a host code here for a month, and if you don't spend up to $150, please use that host code, and that also helps me. But if you spend $150, by all means, don't use it, and that way you get some bonus money to spend, or that's free. You don't have to buy anything particular. You just get like $15 for $150, and then you can spend it on whatever you like. Okay, enough said about that. Let's get to work here. I want to show you this happy birthday card that I made, and I hope that you will find this interesting. I really love this set. The stamp set and the lace die comes as a unit if you want to purchase it that way, or you can purchase it separate, either way. But it says happy birthday, and on the inside it says hope your day brings just what it should, happiness, health, and everything good. So let me show you the items that I used to make this card. First, it was a little lace is the name of the stamp set, and I'm trying to make doubly sure here that I am where I need to be under the camera, because last week I was off just a little bit, and I think you saw most everything that you needed to, but I'd like to be, on point if I can. Not my strongest point, but I'm trying. Okay. Anyway, here's this big pretty flower. Then you've got a little flower, a heart, this beautiful border stamp, and then this one I used on one of the cards. I'll show you where I used it. This says, you know too much, you'll always be my friend, you mean everything to me, so happy for you, and just a little note to say hello. So those are the stamps. And then I used, because that wasn't oriented towards birthdays, and I wanted to make a birthday card this week, I used the happy and the birthday out of this set, the Well Said stamp set. And this is one of two packages of stamps, and I do love this set. I'm using it more and more. It's one of those things that you need a lot of on a, when we're searching around for a particular sentiment or what have you. The inside sentiment did come from this special celebrations, and I think this one's probably been around a while, but this one I just read, hope your day, blah, 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 is one of my favorites. I use this one particularly a lot. I've used this one up here a whole lot. And then, of course, you've got the congratulations and what have you. Just depends on what your need is. Okay. And this is the lace die. It is an intricate die. And I do use this little brush for, to clean out those little pieces. But I think it's well worth the effort. And if you run this through your die cutting machine a couple of times, even 3 times, it just makes everything come out easier. Then it has one more piece. It has this that will cut along the edge, either vertically or horizontally, and it makes a pretty design. I'll show you what it looks like cut too in a few minutes. So that one is called Stitch Lace Die. And I also used one of these stitched rectangle framelets. I believe it was this one right here. Let me make sure. Yeah. This is the 4th smallest in the group, I guess you could say, or 1, 2, 3. The fifth one from the outside, however you want to look at it. But this comes in handy too. This is another one I use a lot. And one other thing is the little triple punch. Another one of my favorites because I like this little design. And I thought that it went well with the lace because of these little pointed, leaves, flower petals, whatever you want to call them. All right, let me show you the cards that I came up with this week, and then we'll get started making this card. The way I came up with the first card, was I made this one first. And I wanted to see what the black would look like on the white. And I decided that adding a little yellow was a good thing. And this one says get well. I don't know that I would use black again, I'll be honest with you. I think it looks pretty, but then you kind of get into, well, do you really want to send a black card for a get well card? And that's why I tried to brighten it up with the yellow. And then on the inside, it says, know that love, prayers, and caring surround you today. It might make a sympathy card. Not really sure what you might prefer to use the black. It looks pretty. If it just doesn't, if you don't think it looks a little bit morbid. But I started with this one, and then I wanted to change the color to do the birthday card. So that's how I got from here to the one we're making today. This is another one that I came up with. This has got some pretty DSP from that Garden Green DSP package. And I stamped this in Garden Green and used Daffodil Delight to color the center. It says just a little note to say hello. And this little border came from the Be Mine set. It's actually a Valentine's set, but I find that this little border comes in handy a lot of times. It's not just for Valentine's Day. So I added that to that, and then on the inside, I just put a little heart. So, you can write whatever you want to in this one. This one I made a birthday card, and used the Gorgeous Grape and some other colors to color the flowers in. And then it says time to celebrate. Put this border down at the bottom and a background of Gorgeous Grape. So I like the way this one turned out. This one is very simple. You've got just the blueberry bushel color with the blueberry bushel cardstock. And I used the little round circle layering framelets, I believe is what they're called. Anyway, I used that, and on the inside it says, you know too much, and put a little heart there. So that makes a nice friendship, you know, for somebody that you're really close to. But it's very simple, very easy to make. This one took just a little more time. This is the little flower that is in the set that I just showed you. So I stamped it along the top and stamped it along the bottom. Well, the bottom and the top and the bottom. And put some little birds in there from another set that you've seen me use, Free as a Bird. And I put you, that came out of, I think, probably the well-written set. It says, Make Me Smile. So I thought that was sweet. And put some more flowers on the inside. Right, this one took a little bit longer. It's not particularly difficult to do, but it did take a little longer. It says just a little note to say hello. I used the soft seafoam color and the spruce. I drew a blank. Anyway, it's the spruce green color. And I did some layering, as you can see, alternating the colors. And this is the edge that you get when you use that extra little piece along the lace, the lace cutout. You just lay it in place and run it through your die, and that's what you get. On the inside, it also says, You'll always be my friend, ... You know too much. So there you go again. But I thought it did turn out pretty well. And no, it's not Valentine's Day, but this little set said, you mean everything to me. And it made me think about your spouse or, you know, somebody that you really care about. And I thought that this white lace looked really, really pretty. I don't know where I pick up these little pieces of things from, but I do. But I thought this white lace looked really pretty on this lovely lipstick color. And I thought, no, not Valentine's Day, but how about anniversary? Happy anniversary, love. And then put a little heart down there. So I thought that was, you know, that was a nice anniversary card. Everybody likes to feel loved. And the last one, this is the one that I used that tiny little stamp that I was showing you that's separate from the others. With this nested layering die that I cut this out with, it had this little point, and it just seemed like a good place for it to me to kind of put on both ends of this flower. And I put So Happy for You and a little flower, and you can write anything you want to in this and make it any kind of card you want it to be. All right, that's what we have for this week. So here's the card we're going to make. And as usual, I've tried to prepare the stuff ahead of time. I hope I've got everything ready. All right. I used a little piece of black. And this is about a ½ inch, I believe. No, this one, the black is 3/4, and then I just cut out next to the stamped Happy Birthday, sort of made it on the fly. This is the black stamp, the flower stamp. It's stamped in black memento tuxedo black. This is Coastal Cabana. Coastal Cabana. And what I did was I came in about it when I started. I had this was about 1 inch wide. And then I cut it down to where the width of this entire section is 3 3/4. So as I went around, I took a quarter off of this, all the way around. And it's 5 inches this way. So it's 3 3/4 by 5 inches. But the way that you get this, and since I'm not going to run it through the die machine, I will show you. What I did was I just placed my cardstock on top of the die. And I made sure that the edge that I wanted left solid was the same at the top and the bottom. Like I said, it was 1 inch, and I measured it, and then I taped it into place and run it through the die. Then you can trim around it, and you've got a solid piece and a lace piece. But that's how you do it. You just lay it and let that overhang, and it works real well. Let me put this back over. The black piece is 4 inches by 5 1/4 that we're layering this on top of. And then we've got the card base, which is always the same for me. I mean, as long as you're just making the standard card. It's 5 1/2 inches by 8 1/2 inches, scored at 4 1/4. And you, like I said, these measurements will be on the website, my Card Stampin' with Clara website. And this will be the featured card for this week, and you won't have any trouble finding it at all. You can just click right under the card when you go to my website. This is going to go on the inside. It is 4 inches by 5 1/4. This is also Coastal Cabana, of course. And this is a piece of Whisper White. This is Whisper White as well, by the way, if you don't know. It is 3 3/4 by 5. It's stamped with, like I said, the black, tuxedo black, memento tuxedo black, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. And as far as this little punch goes, if you don't know, all you do is you take a piece, you just put it down on a flat surface like this, you put your cardstock in like that, and you press. And then the little pieces fall out. The only thing important about this thing is, don't try to press it over here on the side. Just kind of use the palm of your hand and press straight down. It works best that way. All right, now I think we got the bases covered, and we will start putting it together. Lay these, kind of get them in order so I can tell what I'm doing. All right, first thing I'm going to do is prepare this piece of Coastal Cabana lace. We'll just call it lace like it were a piece of real lace. Well, it is lacy paper, but, you know, most of us think sewing. All right, make sure you get the back side. I'll slide my glasses up here so I can make sure I'm not putting too much on. And I'm going to, this has got a lot of ink in it, so I'm going to have to be careful. I'm going to put it up and down this side till I kind of get it coming out the way I want it to. And then I just bump across it. As you can see, I'm just putting a little bit. If you put much, it'll goosh out on the other side, and you really don't want that. It just makes a sticky mess. One thing you do have to be careful of is make sure you get all the little pieces out before you put the glue on. And occasionally I have caught myself, even after I looked and looked, and you just kind of have to be careful, but still you can miss a piece. Okay. I'll get my corners pretty good. All right. Then place this on top of your black one, leaving a tiny little margin around. Try to get it about where you want it before you press it down, because if you don't, it will be difficult to move. And I sort of missed on this one, it looks like. See if I can. The thing is, when you have something as intricate as this, it makes a rough kind of, you know, underside. And because it's rough, it just won't slide. So be aware. All right. Now then, I'll We'll lay this up here just a second. Let it, make sure it's good and dry. And we're going to do just a little bit of coloring on this. I did not do that ahead of time. I am going to use the Coastal Cabana watercolor to do this flower. And you just, you know, just kind of have to take your time and not get too much all over the place. You know, it seems like some days everything, you're kind of in the quote zone, and other days you just have to be careful. Take your time. Now, when we get done here today, I'm going to show you a couple of other options. I made one card that out of this same Coastal Cabana colors, and I just left this entire flower black, or, you know, just stamped, not black all over, but just stamped. And I'll show you what it looked like, when I got finished. And then another one, I added some color, but not as much. And it's just going to be a matter of personal preference as to what you like. You don't have to color it like this, but it is one option. So, I would like to have a alcohol marker blend, I should say, in Coastal Cabana. And maybe eventually I will. Okay. All right. I think I'm going to use the blend on the yellow instead of the water marker. It works okay too, but this just goes on so easy. As you can see, it doesn't take long to add a little color to this. And because of that, you know, doing it this way, you can kind of see what you're dealing with. This one I'm pressing a little harder with because it doesn't have much ink in it, and for this, it's working nicely. We'll put a little yellow out here. Whoops, I put green on the Coastal Cabana on the other. We're going to put on yellow on this one, I guess. As I started. Can't quite switch in mid-course, but it will not matter. Okay. Here's one more. It was hiding from me. I'm really just trying to use up the ink in this last little bit before I go to my new one. I have another one. Do bear in mind, you do need tuxedo black if you're going to use the blends. That's important. Okay, tell you what, since we put a yellow on the other one, we're going to use go back to this watercolor and put the Coastal Cabana opposite these, just to add a little distinction. We did it a different way, and you can see how this one looks too. Okay, there we go. See? It didn't take long. All right. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this piece, and now we're going to glue this into position. You know, so things don't have to be done exactly the way that I'm doing them as far as the way you put things together. I mean, I could have done this first and then glued on the lace. I mean, the only thing is you kind of have to be, it's like building a house. You can't start with the roof with no foundation. So if you do something a little out of order sometimes, as long as you got a foundation to put it on, you'll be all right. Okay, I'm going to see if I can divide my distance. Notice I'm leaving some here, here, and over on this side. I'm going to pick this up so I can position it with my eyes looking straight on. Okay, I believe that's working pretty well. Okay, now we're going to get the card base. I'm going to put this on next. This glue is really coming out today. Be careful, I'll have a puddle of it. That's what happens when you have a bottle that's about full. All right. Same thing, space everything the very best you can. You'll get better at it. It may not be perfect to start with, but you will get better at it. I think apprehension about getting these things lined up is more of a hindrance than actually doing it. Okay. Get a little glue on my finger, so I need to wipe that off. All right, folks. This is coming together pretty well. Let me cover up this glue for a second. I'm going to go ahead and put this happy birthday on with some dimensionals. It just adds a little, I don't know, it just looks better, I think, to raise things up. You don't necessarily have to raise everything up. And you kind of have to be mindful of whether you're going to mail it too, as to how much bling and dimensionals and various things. I mean, you could mail some, but you can get carried away, and it makes it hard to get in an envelope. Just bear that in mind when you're tying bows and that sort of thing. You want to keep them kind of simple. All right. I'm going to put this at an angle. Maybe not quite as much as the first one, but we're going to put it at an angle. Okay. Now then, that's the front. Back to the glue here. I'm using the Mono liquid glue. It's called Multi-Purpose. It's made by Tombow. I think these cards are just cards that most anybody could make starting out. They're not difficult. It's just a little layering and what have you. Simple die cutting. Okay. Let's put this on the Coastal Cabana. I guess I am a sucker for this little this little trio punch. It is so nice. You can round your corners with it, or just punch out a little hole if you need one, like for a ribbon or something. Okay. You might have noticed when I put the glue around these cutouts, I just kind of went around it, and I tried not to put too much on, just enough to hold it, because there again, anytime you got a cutout, that glue loves to travel. It just ends up making a sticky mess. Okay. But you can make this card with anybody's favorite color. I mean, if you've got a friend and pink is her color or what have you, you can make it pink or blue or green or, you know, just anything, and it would change the looks of it. And yet, you know, that's what adds the personal touch to these cards. All right, there's the inside. There again, hope your day brings just what it should. Happiness, health, and everything good. And the outside, happy birthday. Now you see these two laying side by side. And this one's got yellow and this one has got Coastal Cabana. Well, it's Daffodil Delight, light Daffodil Delight. Now, here's a couple more that I made. And you can decide if you like one more than the other or not. Let's see. I kind of went crazy with these, I guess. Let me push this on up. And that should get them under the camera. At least I hope so. They're not perfectly laid, but there you go. These two with more color. This one with no color, and this one with just a little bit of color around the centers. So it's just a question. You can also notice that some of these, like this one, has got a broader black background underneath for the, you know, to accent the happy birthday, whereas this one is more narrow. And, you know, there's all kinds of little, it does change the looks of the card. So, there you go. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making these. I just love the lace, I guess. And I like flowers, and it works for me. So, I will remind you, let me move these so that you can see the stamp code, MQZ64VNH. That's the not stamp code, the host code, excuse me. And you can get all this information on my website. I hope you have a wonderful week. If I can ever help you in any way, just send me a little message from my blog there at the website. It says Clara's blog. Click on that. There's a lot of duplicating of information, so you can almost stumble onto it if you, you know, if you don't know exactly where to look. But I think you won't have any problems. If you do, for heaven's sakes, tell me so that I can correct it and make it easier. But we've tried hard to make it as user-friendly as possible. So, like I said before, please press the subscribe button if you haven't. And if you should choose to purchase something, I'd appreciate your business. And may the good Lord bless you and keep you until next week. I'll be back again, the good Lord willing, with another set of cards. So for now, bye-bye and have a good week.